Good evening, everyone. I would like to welcome you to this Tuesday, September 30th, 2025 Board of Education meeting. We are calling the meeting to order at 7:06 PM, and if everyone could please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. A reading of meeting notice. The New Jersey Open Public Meeting Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interest is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provision of the Act, the Verona Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting to be published in the Star Ledger, posted with the Township of Verona and the Verona Education Association. Postings of this meeting setting forth the time, location, and agenda were posted at the Verona Board of Education office and on the Verona Public Schools District website. Copies of tonight's agenda and resolutions have been made available to the public via the Board of Education website. Mr. Robinson, if you could please call attendance.
Mr. Waka. Mrs. Ferrera.
Here.
Mrs. Prisco.
Present.
Mr. Boone.
Here.
Thank you. Moving on to our. Oh, so we're going to do this first. Okay, we need a nomination for an election of a board president. Motion to nominate a board president.
I would love to nominate a board president.
Who would you like to nominate?
This is Pam Frisco.
Thank
Of course.
Motion by Mr. Waka, seconded by. I'll second. Are there any discussions, rebuttals, any questions? No. I need a roll call for the nomination of president. Oh. Oh. Close are there any other nominations for president? Okay, I'm going to close that. Seeing none are made, and motion to
So moved.
Mike and seconded by Mr. Waka. Mr. Robinson, if you could please call roll. So official.
Mr. Boone.
Yes.
Mrs. Ferrera.
Yes.
Mrs. Prisco.
Yes,
Mr. Waka.
Yes.
thank you. Statement, Pam Prisco is hereby elected as president of the Verona Board of Education. The president assumes the chair. Here I am. All right, thank you. On to routine matters. Now,
No, not routine yet. You have to, someone has to nominate for vice.
oh, because it's not on here. It's
I
only
know,
president.
because-
Oh, okay.
Even though it's not on the agenda or.
Yeah, she has to read it into them.
Okay.
Do the same.
All right, I got you. So now I have to nominate, I need a nomination for the vice president of the Verona Board of Education. Motion, nomination by. I'll nominate, oh, do I nominate? Mr. I'll nominate Mr. Boone. Mr. Boone. Okay,
Who's-
are there any other
Who's
nominations?
the second on that?
Chris? Are there any other nominations? Okay, I need a motion by, for no other, Mr. Waka. I'll second. I need a roll call for nomination of vice president.
Mr. Boone.
Yes.
Mrs. Ferrera.
No, I didn't know.
Yes.
Mrs. Prisco.
Yes,
Mr. Waka.
Congrats, Mr. Boone. Yes.
I hereby, Mr. Boone is hereby elected as the vice president of the Verona Board of Education. Vice President, please assume your chair.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to routine matters. I need a motion, please, to approve the regular meeting of September 9th, 2025.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Boone, seconded by, I'll second, Mrs. Ferrara. Any other discussions? None. I need a roll call, please, by Mr.
Mr.
Robinson.
Waka.
Yes.
Mrs. Ferrara.
Yes.
Mrs. Prisco.
Yes,
Mr. Boone.
Yes.
Thank you. Moving on to our superintendent's report by Ms. Diane DiGiuseppe.
Good evening. I just want to start my report by extending a warm welcome to Mr. Steve Robinson, who joins us as our interim business administrator. Mr. Robinson brings with him a wealth of experience and a strong record of leadership in school business operations. Before his retirement in 2021, he served as the BA in Middletown for 6 years, following a long and successful tenure in Livingston, a K-12 district, neighboring district of a little more than 6,000 students. And he started in Livingston in 1998. During his time there, he oversaw the development and implementation of approximately $130 million budget, actively participated in collective bargaining, and successfully led 4 bond referendums totaling more than $160 million. I know that he supported a wide range of capital improvements, including a beautiful science supervisor designed by a really intelligent science building.
Top notch.
Top notch. In addition to district level work, Steve's been an influential figure statewide. He serves as the trustee for the New Jersey School Insurance Group from 2015 to 2021, as chairman of the North Jersey Educational Insurance Fund from 2010 to 2021, president of the Essex County Association of School Business Officials 6 times, and received the Distinguished Service Award from the New Jersey Association of School Business Officials. We are fortunate to have someone of Steve's caliber supporting the district during this transition period. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you, Diane.
About that. So those accolades are super impressive, right? I know we're posting for the job now, correct?
Yeah.
We're looking to start that, the permanent position when, and if we have to, we have the option for 2 years for him. If
I don't
he-
think you know the
I'm sure he would love to be. Once you leave this meeting, you're going to see how different Verona is, how much you want to be here. But those are the options that are in play, correct?
Yes.
Yes, the laws of New Jersey, you can have an interim and administrative position for up to 2 years.
But we're looking for a new person to start.
We are.
All right, very
We
good.
are. And
How's
that's
that going?
actually going, my next component is a staffing update. So we are currently, I'll talk about the business administrator search first. So we are in round 1, part 2. We had done round 1, and as is the flavor in New Jersey right now, there are several openings for BAs, and it's a very competitive market. So we are back to round 1 again. We had successful candidates come through today that will be interviewing second round next week, and hope to I think we're really very lucky that both of them are very competent. So it's just a matter of, can we make that deal?
And what's your thoughts about working with a particular search agency that we selected? What's pro?
It's Mr. Robinson, so yes.
Oh, you're the search agency. Very interesting. Okay.
Yes.
Yes, yes, great. I mean, both he and Dana Sullivan, who is his partner in business, have been really helpful in helping me navigate. We got a decent amount of applicants. It's just a matter of qualifications, et cetera, et cetera. So in addition to the BA search, the only teaching staff that we are in the process of hiring is for that 6th grade science position. In the interim, we've placed a long-term sub in that classroom who is content certified. She's content specialized. In the process of getting her certification, she does have a sub-cert. And we are interviewing next week for the permanent position in that area. We are pleased to have our very esteemed group over there, being led tonight by Mrs. Ackerman, our district test coordinator. First and foremost, our director of school counseling, tonight serving as the district test coordinator, and Laura Kohler, who is our assistant principal for special services at the elementary level, will be speaking about the DLM. They're here to talk about our annual testing report, which will provide good insight into our students' performance in state and other assessments, along with analysis. We are also very proud to recognize 2 students who have been named to the National Merit Commended Scholars. This is a significant academic honor and places them among the top performing students in the country based on the PSAT NMSQT, or the National Merit. I don't remember the rest of that acronym. What's that? Score qualifying test. It's the PSAT. So congratulations to the students, and that they are Titus Howday and Suri Gupta. Congratulations to both of them. A reminder that we are closed this Thursday in observance of Yom Kippur. We have upcoming next week on October 7th, Mallory's Army Assembly. Some communications went out today. We will continue to advertise. Currently, we have about 43 people that have responded to join the founder, Mallory's Army founder, Diane Grossman, at an evening of discussion on October 7th. She's also presenting to our students on the 6th at HBW and VHS. One quick update about the Trees for Schools grant. I did go to the training. I know we talked about the potential of not accepting that grant this year as a result of Jorge leaving. I need a strong business person to, there's a lot of paperwork that it goes along with this grant. And the bigger problem was the change in funding, that we would have to put the money out of pocket and get reimbursed in the 2026 and 2027 school year. I met with Township Manager Kevin O'Sullivan today, and we are going to partner on this grant. They are going to assist us with funds from the Shade Tree Commission. So this is doable because we're putting some of those trees on township property. We can partner with them.
Town's gonna make it like a zero sum for us, or we're not losing. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Excellent.
Yeah.
That was nice.
So it's nice having spoken with him today, and they are also, in addition to that, they're
I'm
offering.
sorry to interrupt, but do
Yeah.
we need the council to vote yes to that, or is that a done deal already?
I don't know. That's a good question. I can check with Kevin tomorrow. I do know that they also offered the grant writers to assist in, because we wrote the grant that we received, but now we have to write the grant, right? You have to go back and really hammer out this much more in-depth grant. So they offered us the township grant writers to help take some of that off of our plate, knowing that we're a little busy here at the school district. Yeah, that's my report for tonight. So we'll go on to Ryan and then this testing.
Good evening. Okay, to start, last Thursday, the 25th, was back to school night, and this year families were welcomed by our cheerleaders and marching band, who kicked off the night with a live aid performance, and parents had the opportunity to meet teachers, learn about class material, and explore the campus. The event ran smoothly thanks in part to the National Honor Society volunteers who served as greeters and guides around the school. In athletics, continuing up the upward trend, the girls volleyball team defeated MKA last Wednesday and Montclair High School yesterday with a match against Milburn this evening and an upcoming game against Livingston next Monday. The field hockey team scored a victory over Kent Place yesterday, Monday. The girls tennis team is playing the first round of the NJSIAA region tournament today against Cedar Grove. Both cross-country teams are running a joint meet at Cedar Grove Park this afternoon. And the football team swept Newark Collegiate last Saturday, as there is an upcoming home game against Hoboken this Friday night. There is a home boys soccer game against Belleville tomorrow after school. And tonight is the girls soccer senior night, with our 5 soccer seniors being featured on Soweto Field before the rivalry game against Cedar Grove. And shifting focus to the performing arts, the VHS marching band competed against 6 other bands last Saturday at J.P. Stevens High School in Edison, New Jersey, with the marching maroon and white taking a staggering first place at the competition. Following up on the first report from this month, the student council speeches and elections ran smoothly, with many students, especially underclassmen, stepping up to the occasion and sharing their valued opinions and visions after a strong selection of candidates. I'm excited to announce and congratulate the other members of this year's Student Body Executive Board: Lily Reedy, Student Body President; Andrew Ackerman, Student Body Vice President; Payne Kohler, Student Body Secretary; and Courtney Cruz, Student Body Social Media Coordinator. We will be attending a Student Government Leadership Summit tomorrow at James Caldwell High School. And once more, I'd like to extend my congratulations to seniors Surya Gupta and Titus Halliday, who were commended for placing among the top 50,000 students on the 2024 PSAT. And this is something new for me, but I'm going to mirror something that I was inspired by from Reese 2 years ago. And starting today, I will be reporting on my personal efforts and contributions as a school representative. And to begin, so far, I have been trying to advance student interest and awareness in school policy, and I've been working to coordinate with the administration on this matter and also drumming up student council members to be familiar with the school district's chain of command to better answer questions and understand the scope of what it means to be in student council. And I've also been in talks with various clubs, such as Girls Learn International, regarding the possibility of giving presentations and Q&A sessions on policies such as diversity, equity, and inclusion. That is all for today. Thank you.
Ryan, you, as far as I'm concerned, you've earned the green light to kind of find your own voice. And I think you're doing a really great job and you're an absolute boon. I love to hear your reports.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Ryan. Moving on to our presentation, Marissa Ackerman, Director of School and Guidance. Hi.
Good evening. Yeah, you're good to go. Well, I'm gonna present on last spring's results on the NJSLA, ELA math and science, and then Ms. Kohler will come up and talk a little bit about the DLM assessment. We'll begin with kind of a review. NJSLA, while it's top of mind for many of us many days, it's not something that we do all that often. So just a reminder quickly about what it is and what it tests. Students in grades 3 through 9 are tested in ELA, English Language Arts. Students in 3 through 9 and any 10th, 11th, or 12th grader that hasn't yet met their federal math requirement, which basically means if they come to us having not had algebra, because all of our 9th graders will have had at least algebra, test in mathematics. And then students in grade 5, 8, and 11 take the science assessment. It's designed to measure how well our students are doing to the New Jersey State Core Competency Standards. So we use the standards, we test to those standards to see how we are progressing. It also fulfills our national federal mandate for testing. So we get that out of the way with one state test. And then it provides us a lot of data so that we are able to address areas of concern. We use it when we're reviewing individual student needs, what they might be better served, what kind of interventions we may need. Because why would anything be simple and straightforward? The two different tests have two different score pathways. So ELA and math is scored out of an 850 on each subject. There are 5 levels of achievement. Did not yet meet expectations, partially met expectations, approached expectations, or then the final 2, which is where we want our students to sit and meet or exceeded grade level expectations. Science scored out of 300 with 4 different performance levels for no good reason that it's different: below proficient, near proficiency, proficient, and then advanced proficiency. So we'll begin with ELA and our results. We start with the numbers, just purely numbers, because our students are actually behind these numbers. So I like to start with those facts rather than just percentages. These represent real live human beings that we are teaching and educating. So we start there. You can see grades 3 through 11, the number of students that we're testing. And then for simplicity, combining the number of students that are met or exceeded our expectations, and then the percentages. So you could see our students are doing very well on the ELA assessment, with the majority of our students at every grade level meeting or exceeding expectations. The not yet meeting or exceeding, as I said, are real life human beings. So those students need assistance. And so we're so proud to be able to offer them the assistance so that each year we continue to grow. Numbers mean nothing in isolation. So we always want to make sure that we're looking not only as the district as a whole, but also at how individual schools are doing. We only have individual schools at the elementary level. So grades 3 and 4, as a whole, as a district, are doing really well. And you could see the breakdown by individual school, how those students are doing. When we look at any kind of percentages, we always want to have a comparison point. So how did we do last year? And how many of our students met or exceeded expectation? And then if you remember when I was here in August talking about NJGPA, language matters tremendously. So we say how many of our students, what percentage of students were not yet meeting those expectations. They're going to get there. We will help them to get there. And so they're just not there yet. So you can see this broken down by grade in comparison from the spring of 2024 to the spring of 2025. From fourth grade on, we saw growth in the number of students that were meeting or exceeding up until grade 8. We are doing exceedingly well when we take that one step forward and compare it to how we're doing in comparison to districts across the state. In both 2024 and 2025, we exceeded state standards, and that's nice to know. Percentage wise, we're doing better than the state. But what's really great to see is we're actually growing much faster in our strengths than the states are, than the state district as a whole is. So where the state is only seeing small 2-3 percentage point growth, we had some grade levels that saw up to 10% growth. So we're not only outpacing them, but we're outpacing the growth that the other districts are seeing. So that's a really great thing to note. Some specific notable achievements, as I said, all of our tested grades, at least 12 percentage points higher than the state average in meeting or exceeding, which is amazing. I'd like to particularly highlight 7th grade. You know, I've combined level 4 and 5, but meeting and exceeding. And for most of those, level 4 is actually the higher number, right? We have a lot of students meeting, maybe not as many exceeding. 7th grade ELA is the exception. We had 83% meeting or exceeded, and 53% of that was exceeding. More than half of our 7th grade in English language arts are exceeding expectations for grade level. So incredibly proud of that. We need to still address those that aren't meeting those expectations, and how are we doing that? Through the support of the board, we were able to adjust the HBW schedule. I know we talked about that seemingly endlessly. One of the amazing things that came out of that is academic intervention periods. We have been able to utilize NJSLA and MAP growth data to identify which students needed that intervention, and they're receiving that. Also, with the support of the board, we're introducing a new literacy program, K-5. HMH Into Reading has really targeted supports for students so that we're treating them not just as numbers, but exactly what they need. And then in all of our disciplines, we unpack NJSLA standards, the Marzano kind of teaching model, which is also our evaluation model. But the teaching and planning model helps our students to do that, our teachers to do that, which we see the growth then in our students. And we're always analyzing these data. Wow, could rag on the state of New Jersey for sometimes their rollout of things. One thing that they do well when they give us back this data is it's really broken down pretty intently, including right down to which of the items we did well on or not. So that can be really good information for our faculty to dig into and kind of see where we can grow and change. So a lot of this applies to math too, but I'll go through the math as well. And in that same manner, first with just the numbers, this needs, I think, a little bit more explanation. Grades 3 through 7, traditional. Everybody in grade 3 takes grade 3 math, all the way up through grade 7, everybody takes grade 7 math. In grade 8 is where we start to see students split. So you see, we don't obviously have a class of only 90 students in grade 8, but about half of our class took Algebra 1 as 8th graders. So those numbers are actually a little misleading because it's not only 8th graders that are taking Algebra 1, it's actually a combination. It's about half the freshman class that's taking it as well. And then only students that are in their 9th grade year taking algebra, geometry, or Algebra 2 would need to test. You'll see that Algebra 2 only has 4 students testing. So I won't refer to that the rest of the presentation because we don't produce results when it's less than 10 students because it could be identifying for the student. But so the number of students, pure numbers, again, they're real human students that need our love and attention every day. So the numbers of students that met or exceeded standards and those not yet meeting those, and percentage-wise where we see those as well. And then breaking it down by elementary school for 3rd and 4th grade, you'll see some varying results across the board, but as a district, sitting above 50% of our students meeting or exceeding expectations there. Comparing it to 2024, across the board in absolutely every category, we saw growth, which is incredible. and some really important things to highlight. Geometry, again, it's a small subset of the students that are actually taking geometry, but 21 percentage point growth there. And grade 6 math, 18%. You'll see on this next slide when we compare to the state, we're just simply blowing it out of the water compared to how the state is doing. Where the state is, it was a good year for math across New Jersey, not as many negative numbers as we saw in ELA, but the state is seeing 2, 3, maybe even 4 percentage point growth. We are seeing almost double digits in every grade level. So we're really super proud of how our students are performing relative to their state peers. How is that happening? As I said, we're really excited about the percentage of students that are meeting, exceeding. It's our highest numbers in over 4 years in the math field. So we're thrilled by that. We surpassed the New Jersey average by at least 14 points in every category. Again, highlighting 7th grade. It was a tremendous year for our 7th graders. That's the highest percentage of students meeting or exceeding since 2013. So we're incredibly proud of that. Dimensions and Amplified Math, another thing that the board has invested in is to credit there. 2 wonderful programs that help build curious math students, that build out the student-centered active learning approach that our students do so well in. Teachers in grade 5 through 8 have gotten targeted PD to help their students continue to achieve. Again, just like in ELA, our new schedule is allowing for academic intervention, and then the same unpacking standards through Marzano and analyzing results. I'd like to say that I'm going to continue with wowing you with results, but science is a tough spot, not just for us, but for the entire state of New Jersey. So don't let these numbers scare you off. Our students are certainly not doing as well as in science as they did in math and ELA, but they're actually doing just as good relative to their state peers. So the numbers look a little scary. The test is not as good. The test is not utilized for any particular quote unquote count. You know, it doesn't go to federal requirements. It doesn't go towards any kind of graduation requirement, anything like that. So some things left to be desired in the state development of the test for sure. So this is how our students are doing, again, only tested in grades 5, 8, and 11. You could see how we did comparatively to 2024, increases across the board. So maybe not the numbers we want to see. We certainly want to see more than 50% of all of our students achieving proficiency, but we did see tremendous growth. And then relative to the state, we once again just did so well compared to our state peers, where the state saw about a 3% growth and flat in one grade. We saw 12% growth in grade 5, 7 in grade 4, in grade 8, and 4% in grade 11. So much to be proud of in an area where there's definitely a lot more room for growth. This is an area where we're shifting a little bit of what we're doing. Very exciting that Ms. Giuseppe is working directly with a lot of our science teachers. What a tremendous gift to them to have her knowledge to help them unpack the standards. And that will pay dividends to our students. When you have a science-minded person that's not just approaching it from, this is something extra that I have to teach, but this is what I love to teach. It just does tremendous things for students. So we're really excited about that.
I interrupt to ask.
Yes, please do.
Dr. Miller or Diane can jump in, because when we see an assessment, right, that, you know, a third of the state is not meeting proficiency, right?
Yeah.
And we want to teach to the standards. That to me, that means like such a logical answer, right? Who wouldn't say if we teach the standards, then you know, our test scores are likely to be higher. But if everyone's doing this and we're still seeing that only 30% of the students pass, to me, I think that's a huge indicator that either the test maker is not sharing what standards they're actually testing on to the districts, and there's a disconnect there, or the other alternative is that like every district is just fumbling the ball, right? And I don't think that's the likely answer. So I guess my question is, philosophically, when you have a test that's so clearly testing students on the things that either internally or through vendors that produce textbooks, that we follow the curriculum, the kids all do their homework, they all do the assignments, and a third of them are still, 2/3 of them are still not passing this test. It makes it very difficult for someone in your position or someone in Dr. Miller's position or even Diane's position to figure out the answer, because you might be teaching
Yeah.
the right science, but it's not the science the kids are being tested on.
Yeah,
So
so I'd
what does
actually,
Verona do with that? Is and it's not an attack question. it's
no,
more like a-
no, I'd
learning
actually like to offer maybe like a 2.1 option in there. In that math and ELA standards are much easier to write test questions for. In that they have a very specific sequence and a very specific, everyone should be doing this exact same thing. Science, we're trying to get there. I think it was like 6 or 7 years ago now that we brought in next gen, a long time it feels like, that we brought in new standards. But also, even when you're teaching science, there's that excitement to bring in real world. Not that we don't do that in math and ELA, but it's easier to stick to the curriculum there. When in math and science, to really engage students, we love it when it becomes hands-on. And there's not a great way to test what students learned in hands-on. They say they're producing a lab report. Ryan, I don't even know if you remember the science standards, but like one of the question areas is always you have to read through the lab report and what experiment might they have done. That's not the same thing as hands-on doing it. And so there is yes, you're right, there's a disconnect with the test maker. But there also just hasn't been an investment in that
agree,
area.
because, we talk about STEM and science, right? And we want the challenge-based learning or the problem-based learning model,
Yeah.
or the cooperative learning model.
That's right.
And that might very well be counter to what this particular assessment's looking
Yeah.
for. And if I had to pick between the two, I'll take these scores and get our kids cooperating and
Yeah.
looking to solve problems.
I mean, I agree.
collaboratively. So
Diane could speak to whether she
Yeah,
agrees or not, but I absolutely agree with that.
I just have a hard time giving too much credence to an assessment that I think is either
Yeah.
poorly designed or poorly communicated. So I think all the scores you showed are positive, and even
Yeah.
the science results that look not positive.
Yeah,
I
they're
don't-
still
I don't think
great.
it's accurate.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
Verona's doing a good job with it.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I would say one other thing, because the next generation science standards, even though we don't technically use NGSS
Yeah.
right now, we do because it's just a carbon copy of what
Right.
we call the NJSLS in science. Because there's 3 different components to it. There's the practices, so scientific practices, the core ideas, which is really the content, and the cross-cutting concepts. It's really difficult for Measurement Incorporated. They've come out and said this several times, to write a question that addresses that triangulation of content, practices, and cross-cutting concepts. Test is not good. It wasn't good before we went to NGSS. But in Verona, we can improve our science scores. We're choosing to continue with a very good program of science, K5. I'm sorry, K8. It's just that it's not aligned to the science standards. And we are focused to change, to pull this out from under teachers now, while they're trying to do HMH, to then change their science program all in the same year. This is a low stakes test because it doesn't do anything except get us, keeps us in line with ESSA. We have to test science at 3 grade levels. Or you can see that the high school students are across the state perform less because it doesn't count, and they know it doesn't count. So we definitely are teaching good science in this district. It's just maybe not necessarily aligned with what the standards are asking at this point.
Is there a way, and I ask this kind of outside looking in, and I know the SAT, of course, does not have science questions, but the ACT does, and they have an optional section. But and on the SAT, they do have science related questions, I think,
Yeah.
in the reading.
Yeah.
Where I'm going with this, is there a way that we can correlate our students' scores on those tests and compare them to what we're seeing on this, to just kind of get a better?
No, because Measurement Incorporated does
Yeah.
not give us what and I don't know what Cambrian is going to give us.
Yeah.
But when you look what Mrs. Ackerman was saying earlier, we get an analysis statement that shows us where our students perform on each item. Right, so we can look at that and say, okay, we are below the state. We're way below the state on this item. Go back to the curriculum, look at that standard. Where's it represented in the curriculum? Are we missing it? Are we teaching it after the kids are tested? There's a lot of different things we can do with that information. We don't get that same level of information about the science test. We get raw score.
Yeah. And just I don't think it answers your question, but just something else to highlight. Ms. Giuseppe and I, literally minutes before coming over here, happened to be talking about the SAT. And while it is definitely not a direct correlation. What holds true is that our students here in Verona on average outpace both their state, and there we have national counterparts. We're outpacing them. So that holds true, which is something we should all be really exceptionally proud of. Our students are doing well. The education they're receiving in Verona through the support of the board and the fabulous faculty that we have, it's helping them in all manner of ways, not the least of which is testing. So just to conclude my portion before I turn it over to Ms. Kohler, what's ahead is changes. And you'll see no changes to NJSLA science. It isn't necessarily a great assessment, and we're not going to invest in it to make it better. So no changes there, but beginning next week, October 6th, we have the opportunity for one last administration of what will be known as the old NJGPA, or the Graduation Proficiency Assessment. We only have 3 members of the class of 2026 that still need to test. They were just students that came to us having not tested in their junior year. They're here now, so we will test them and hope that they achieve the required score to be considered graduation ready by the state. The NJSLA in both ELA and math is becoming an adaptive test. I sort of previewed this with everyone in August. We're really excited about the move to adaptive testing. Our students are very familiar with that type of model because it is the model that Map Growth uses. And we believe it's a more accurate assessment of students' score. Just in general, adaptive testing is a better fit for assessing students' ability. So we're excited about that. As with any new initiative, some bumps along the road. We will do a field test, as will every other district in the state of New Jersey, from October 27th to November 14th. There's a lot of days off in between those dates. So I've met with both the high school and middle school already to identify dates to do that. It's going to be a tight squeeze. I've gone to state training along with our director of technology to learn a new system. Pearson is out and has been supplanted by Cambium. So we got to meet the officials from Cambium and learn the new platform in part. It's not fully ready. So as soon as that's fully ready, we'll do a rollout, but we'll field test in the fall, and then spring results will be on the adaptive. So next September, when I'm in front of you again, I don't know that we're going to have the comparison. It's going to be 2 different tests. So then we're going to be really talking about pure numbers, but we're excited for the change, of course, apprehensive as with any new product, something new to learn, but we're really excited for our students to have a better opportunity to demonstrate their abilities through an adaptive testing. And we will continue to roll with the changes as they come with grace and patience. That's all we can offer. To talk about our DLM results, my wonderful colleague, Ms. Laura Kohler.
Ms. Ackerman?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, before, I'm
No.
sorry to interrupt. Something in the earlier part of your presentation, you were on the language arts part. 2 questions. I think there's the disparity or the drop-offs we are seeing in grades 3 and 9.
Yep.
My question is, why those grades in particular? Is it transitionary? Is it?
So yes, the grade 3 is an interesting one. It's the student's first time. So, you know, the school counselor in me would like to say that anytime somebody is experiencing something new for the first time, it's not that the content is unfamiliar with them, and they do take MAP testing, but NJSLA feels more pressure filled despite every faculty member's attempt to make it feel like, don't worry, do your best. It's the 3rd grader's first time. So part of it is that, and part of it is just there's so many more uncontrollable variables from class to class, right? So yes, we saw a decline in 3rd grade 24 to 25. There's just so much more that can't be controlled there in terms of personality of youngsters that are taking the assessment. We're confident that HMH will see really strong dividends for all of our students, and we expect that to be growth. The 9th grade one, certainly much more controllable. I think what we see in our 9th graders often is it's the only assessment that they need to take, right? They were used to taking MAP, English, math 3 times a year. They don't take an ELA assessment in math at the high school, in MAP in the high school. They only take math. So now we're like returning back to, remember this, it's important again.
Right.
Is everybody focused? Is everybody paying attention? You have to do your best work. So there's some of that. The drop off, if you saw, it was also the state drop off. We saw similar numbers in terms of drop off from the state, not quite as drastic as ours, but it's, I don't think any one particular issue, but there was a drop off on the test. It seemed that it was a down year for ELA. We experienced that particularly in ninth grade, and an up year for math.
Is there something, and this is my last question, I promise.
You can have as
On
many
the,
questions as you'd like.
on the third grade, is there any issues, and I think you kind of hinted at this, of user experience with the computers, you know, just physically? The younger students may have trouble, you know, it's kind of hard to imagine, you know, with our digital natives now, but
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
that just being comfortable on some of the user experience, the UX on
Yeah.
these programs can cause frustration. They're not.
Yeah, we don't see that in large scale, though I do think when you're talking about the numbers in our district, small scale things are harder to hide, right? We have
Right.
so few students testing that even if 3 or 4 students had trouble figuring out how to type a constructed response,
move it.
that could move that something, right? Our students are used to computer-based testing. Now MAP is adaptive and doesn't have the constructed response at that grade level that the NJSLA might see. So it's not brand new to them, and you're right, digital natives, but like I said, there is some more high stakes. Remember, our teachers are at least partially scored on some of these results in some areas, right? It matters to the teachers too, and that's a wonderful thing. It should matter to them, right? Again, we don't necessarily fully agree with how the state says it should matter to them, but it should, right? Student performance should be our ultimate indicator of faculty success. But we bring our whole selves to that. So is there some pressure added from our teachers? Sure, that we don't necessarily see in math, but yeah, we don't have any wide scale technology issues. We're so fortunate to have one-to-one for all of our students. So everyone has a device. They're used to using a device. We don't necessarily see, oh, now we're bringing in Chromebooks that they're not used to in the classroom. So we don't see that in large scale.
This is very anecdotal right now. But again, just kind of looking at the grade 3 across the state. One thing that I found interesting in looking at evidence statements for 3, 4, 5, there were standards. So we adopted new standards for 2023, and there were standards in the evidence statements that were not in the new standards. They were old standards.
Mhm.
So there's a very, so there's a very good, did you, yep, and grade 4 as well. So there's a good chance that some of these standards where we may have been focusing on some of the language
not
standards,
tested.
now they weren't tested, and they were old standards that were tested. So that
Yeah,
was just
And,
interesting.
and I think that same grace and patience that we're going to extend to ourselves, I'll speak for myself, that I'm going to extend to myself when we're rolling out a new test. On my better days, I'm able to extend to the state. They continue to change standards and then change tests. And I'm not really surprised to hear that, though I hadn't dug deep enough to know that. I'm not surprised. And I think we're going to experience it in the spring, right? Because we're going to a completely new type of testing. As I said, I'm excited for adaptive testing, but it's unlike anything the state has done at this large scale. So things like, did we test the right standards? That might still
Well,
be an
we
issue.
have the big field test to find out.
We're going to field test to try and help figure that out. Okay, thank you.
Hi, good evening. Thank you so much for having me here. I'm going to speak very briefly to the results of our dynamic learning map assessment. So just as we're very proud of our students who participated in the NJSLA, we're equally proud of our students who follow a more heavily modified curriculum, and those are our students who participate in the DLM assessment. So this is a computer-based assessment. It is testing students' proficiency in reading, in math, and in science. This past year, we had 15 students participate in the assessment, both students who are in our district and both students who are out of our district, so about half and half. In terms of their performance, we'll speak to ELA and math. For science, because it's only tested in 5th, 8th, and 11th, we didn't have the minimum number of 10 to report out for anonymity. So in terms of their performance in math, we did have 10 students who are emerging. We have 2 students approaching the target and 3 students who are on target. And for ELA, 10 who are in the emerging category, there's these 4 different categories. two who are approaching the target, two at the target, and we have one student who was advanced and exceeded expectations. We did have multiple students who grew within proficiency levels, so we are really proud of the hard work that they're doing. In terms of next steps, we really celebrate our student success. They're working extremely hard in their classes. So we let them know how well they're doing, and they're really proud of their achievements too, which is a wonderful thing. We also use the results similar to how we use NJSLA results and really break that down. We get a similar report for DLM. So it really talks about different areas, and then we're able to determine learning targets for our kids and also utilize that information to inform their IEPs and their IEP goals at their annual review meetings. So we will continue to provide individualized instruction. We're very lucky that we have a phenomenal special education team here in Verona who work really tirelessly to create these individualized programs for kids. They're very hands-on, they're very relevant to real life experiences for the kids, and we're excited to see the growth that they continue to make. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Does anyone have any other questions for them? Thank you for being here. Moving on to our agenda. I need, committee reports. Finance, did you meet?
We had our final meeting with Jorge. Let me just get back to my notes. Just bear with me one quick. I had my screen up. Oh, there we go. So the highlight of our meeting really was to go over the transition period from Mr. Cruz into the interim into the new status. Mr. Cruz has left a very good plan of attack. The focus again on how we're going to be handling the ROD grant moving into the spring. He underscored the BA transition files, which our superintendent, of course, is well aware of, and then gave us an update on the mediation status of the playground on the repairs tied to that. Effectively, the process is going as successfully as Verona could possibly hope, which is still going to take some time to get to where we need to be. But other than that, business as usual.
Thank you. Anyone have any questions? Moving on to public comments on any agenda action items. If there's anybody from the public wishing to speak, please just state your name and you will have 3 minutes to address any items we're voting on. Seeing none, moving on to discussion items. Does anyone have any new business or old business that they would like to report out on?
Thank you.
I do have a couple of things that I would like to report out on. So this past Saturday, I attended the legislative committee meeting for New Jersey school boards. I'm on for our 40th district. And this meeting was, they always have a guest speaker, and it was Assemblyman Christopher DePhillips and Assemblyman Al Barlis from our District 40. So they highlighted me because I'm part of District 40 and was at the meeting. So they were able to give me a few minutes to address our assemblyman. And so they wanted to know what are some of our concerns were in our district. So I spoke about our, teachers and our staff, how I feel like everyone is just overworked, overwhelmed. There's not enough money to pay our teachers. And if they could try and work harder to get funds more available for our staff, that would be wonderful. I spoke obviously about funding and how nervous our district is amongst other districts about losing funds. And then addressed issues about mental health, the concerns with that, and then also talked about the pilot and talked about with Assemblyman Barlis, who actually lives in our neighboring town in Cedar Grove. They do something there in Cedar Grove where every student they get from a pilot, the township gives the Board of Ed whatever the cost of the it costs the district per student. So I just, we obviously spoke about pilots a lot. Everyone else chimed in. It's not just our district that's feeling it. So it was great to have our representatives attending this meeting, so we were able to kind of, have a voice a little bit.
Can I interrupt real quick to ask a question to Mr. BA? Have you heard of other districts doing that? I've never heard of that, where like it's a special category for kids from pilots.
I have not heard about that one.
That's a really unique. way
That's
to
how
do
they're
it.
doing,
I
that's
like that.
how, yeah, some are.
How long is that like a pilot zone? Like, is that?
Yeah.
5-year thing or 10-year thing?
I think
Yeah.
it's 20, Mr. Walker.
That's interesting.
But two things that I kind of want to touch on, and everybody here, and everybody around town knows my disdain for everything involving pilot. But and I believe West Orange has, I'm going tangential on myself here, but I believe West Orange has toyed with an idea similar to Cedar Grove, but I don't have the documentation in front. Concern is that every town's pilot program is not the same. And I worry that the town of Verona and its pilot commitments do not lend itself to us being able to make that request, as we found out last year. I would love for us to be able to execute on that. But I think we need to, again, have another conversation with the town exactly on where they are committing that pilot money, because as we found, it almost feels like, at the risk of being critical of the town, that they're using it to pay their Discover card with their Visa. And so they don't have that money that Cedar Grove might have. But if that were an option, a per student option would be wonderful. I just want to manage expectations as we move into those conversations.
You said, and I also would agree that if this is something the town would consider, it would still move the needle in a more positive direction than we have now, which is 0.0, right?
Right.
And I think that is probably the most equitable problem solved that I've heard so far. So perhaps when we get or by a new board in January, that could be something when we make our new board goals. That could be something we could look at.
Thank you. And then other thing I wanted to, our next Board of Ed meeting, October 14th, is also the same night as the Verona High School Cheer for a Cure for the funds for Manette's Angels, and Verona Eagles also participate in that. That'll take place at the high school field. And one other thing I want to discuss is our athletic director. I know it didn't make it onto the agenda, but Laura Pomerizzi is leaving our district. And I just want to wish her well and say how much she's going to be missed here in Verona. I've had the pleasure of working with her on the athletics committee for many years since she's been here. And she has brought so much positivity to this school district, to the students. I think the students are going to really miss her, because I know she is really cares about the
Do you have
students.
her resignation on
Yes.
the agenda?
No, it's not on the
No.
agenda. It came in after the agenda was
All right,
finalized.
so in good faith,
Yeah.
we're gonna, okay, very good.
So I just want to wish her well, and I am really truly going to miss her here in Verona. So
Here,
good luck.
here,
Here. Good luck,
here,
Laura.
here. Wish her best of luck. but-
Ryan, did you want to say something? I saw you talking when I
Yeah,
said about the students.
Definitely, like, of course, Miss Pomeroy is very like recognized and a very respected figure, like especially among like student athletes, and like everyone loves when she shows up to like literally any athletic events, and it's just like it's always like a good day when she shows up, and she's definitely a beloved figure. So VHS will definitely miss her dearly.
This is probably not the best time to bring this up because we just, spoke about Laura leaving, which is, I felt terrible about, and we are going to miss her. But I just had a quick question about the process of, like, for the large game, say like a football game. I know that the Verona Police Department, there's usually an officer out front on Fairview. Is that does the town do that, or is that something that the district arranges for?
We provide for when we need police coverage,
Okay,
to, the police. I will say they do not charge us.
they don't,
They don't, and that's very unusual.
yeah.
Yeah.
And just,
They pay for them. I mean, they don't do it for free. The BPD covers it. Yeah.
I wasn't sure, and I just wanted to raise something. I was parked down by Grove at a football game, and there's always someone on Fairview, but down on Grove, there isn't, and it's very dark, and there's just as many people letting out on Fairview that there are on Grove, and you have cars coming and kids crossing,
Okay.
and it's just something, even if there's a light,
Temporary light. We
something,
could ask, right? But like, it's still not our property, right?
it's not our property,
Yeah.
but I just think that
I agree with you. like,
I
it'd be
just
nice to
have a,
there,
I
but-
just have an obligation to say
Yeah.
was there. I saw it happening. It was dark. There's a lot of people coming out, and I think because it's, you know, there's so many cars now, there's nowhere to park, so you have just as many people parking on Grove that you do on Fairview, so
Are
it's.
there any town regulations though on lighting? Cause I know when the stadium was being revamped, some of the neighbors in that area were.
I'm not sure. I mean, and again, I think it would be just for as they're getting out. I don't know the
Yeah.
process. I just, again, I have an obligation to say it because I saw it. And I usually come out on Fairview. I just happen to be on Grove waiting.
So-
And it's,
So Diane, I'm with you in that, like, I don't think we're looking to take advantage of the golden goose by asking the
No.
police to do more and more and more.
absolutely not.
But I think that in the interest of community safety, it can't hurt to ask for that because,
Sure.
you know, that's exactly where I live almost, right? So like, I knew exactly what you're speaking of. So
Or even a notice that town, like, listen, we have a, well, or even just we have a police presence on Fairview. Please pick up there. You know, if you're parking, that's one thing, but if you're picking kids up, and I was there waiting. You know, even just a notice for parents or just bring it to attention.
Yeah,
That's just something,
I'll
yeah,
talk to Laura. She'll be here through the end of November, so,
Okay.
we'll have her reach out.
yeah, all right, thank you.
And I think that was it. I just want to also congratulate our VHS marching maroon and white on their first place win. That's awesome. Congratulations to Ryan and your, it sure is. So congrats. Moving on, do we have any?
Mrs. Prisco, I just have one other thing.
Yeah.
And we've talked about this at a few meetings, but increasingly I remain concerned about all the e-bikes, and e-bike motorcycles, whatever the heck you want to call them. In light, I know there was a tragic accident in one of our neighboring towns. I believe it was Scotch Plains.
And Cranford.
Yeah,
Pictures for that.
another one in Cranford this morning. It's,
Oh.
you know, by the grace of God, we
Oh.
haven't had any issues in our town. But I just want to implore our parents, think twice before you're navigating into this. And again, I feel like we're beating up on the town a little bit, despite their generosity. We really need to find some regulations, that monitor this because they are becoming a traffic hazard and a safety hazard more importantly.
And that's across.
Yeah,
they're
it's everywhere. It's not just us.
I will say the traffic safety committee that I serve on, well, actually, it usually meets the same night we're meeting, so I send Laura Palmarisi as my rep. They have been working tirelessly to educate and provide virtual courses for our students and their families on safe use of e-bikes.
And I will say, and I do have to thank the Verona Police Department because I think they've been really great. They've been
Right.
great cracking down and, you know, speaking to the kids and that's a great story, but speaking to the kids and, you know, being
Got it.
present and they have, and I do know personally that a lot of kids have gotten rid of them already because of the effort that the cops have been put through.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
thank you to them.
Moving on to correspondence.
No correspondence.
Okay, moving on to our action items, going on to our resolutions, starting with personnel. I need a motion, please, to approve resolutions A1 through A13. Moved by Mr. Waka, seconded by
Second?
Mrs. Ferrara. Are there any discussions on personnel resolutions? Seeing none?
Yeah, oh, sorry.
Oh,
Actually,
sorry.
I had a quick question on
Sure.
A9. There was a resignation of Miss Nicole Austin. I noticed that it was would be like effective till like around the start of November. Is that like I also, if I recall correctly, remember that Miss Erica Tavaglione's leave is ending in December. Does that mean that we have to have another leave replacement school counselor for a month, or that she will be coming back early?
That's a great question, and neither. Mrs. Ackerman is going to kind of divvy up that caseload to the other counselors, including herself, for that month period before Mrs. Tavaglione returns.
Thank you.
Okay, we need a roll call. Mr. Robinson, please.
Mr. Walker,
Yes.
Mrs. Ferrera,
Yes.
Mrs. Prisco,
Yes,
Mr. Boone,
Yes.
thank you. Moving on to our education, I need a motion to approve resolutions B1 through B9. Motion by
I'll second.
Mr. Waka, seconded by Mr. Boone. Are there any discussions? Seeing none, Mr. Robinson, if you could call roll.
Mr. Walker,
Yes.
Mrs. Ferrera, Mrs. Prisco,
Yes,
Mr. Boone,
Yes.
thank you. Moving on to athletics and co-curricular, I need a motion, please, for C1 through C3. Motion by
I'll move it.
Mr. Waka, seconded by
I'll second.
Mrs. Ferrara. Are there any discussions? Mr. Robinson, if you call roll.
Mr. Walker,
Yes.
Mrs. Ferrera,
Yes.
Mrs. Prisco,
Yes,
Mr. Boone,
Yes.
thank you. There are no resolutions for facilities. Moving on to finance. I need a motion to approve resolutions E1 through E14.
So move.
Motion by Mrs. Ferrara, seconded by Mr. Waka. Are there any discussions? Seeing none, Mr. Robinson, if you could
Mr.
call roll.
Walker,
Yes.
Mrs. Ferrera,
Yes.
Mrs. Prisco,
Yes.
Mr. Boone,
Yes.
Thank you. Moving on to governance and policy, I need a motion to approve resolutions F1 through F4. Moved by Mr. Waka, seconded
I'll
by
second.
Mr. Boone. Any discussions? Seeing none, Mr. Robinson, if you could please
Mr.
call roll.
Walker,
Moved, but yes.
Mrs. Ferrera,
Yes.
Mrs. Prisco,
Yes,
Mr. Boone,
Yes.
thank you. I need now I think that is it for our meeting, correct? Oh, yes, I'm sorry. I missed that. Sorry. Oh, it's all the way in the bottom. Moving on to public comments. Is there anyone from the public? Please state your name. You have 3 minutes. No? Okay. Could have skipped it. Moving on, and I think that is it. So I need a
Motion to go into executive session.
Oh, okay.
It'll be short. We couldn't do it before tonight because we had interviews. For personnel
Okay.
reasons, yes.
So I need a
You're
motion.
not gonna come back, right?
We'll be returning and no action will be taken.
No action will take. So I need a motion to go into executive session. Motion by Mr. Waka, seconded by
Whoever.
Mr. Boone. Okay. And we are not coming back after that. So I need then a motion to adjourn our meeting.
So moved.
No?
You're good
No.
with your,
Oh,
yeah, you're making a motion right now that you're not gonna come
So I'm
back.
done.
You're done.
okay. So thank you everyone for coming.
Well, you have it all in favor.
I need an all in favor. Sorry.